Hi. It took me a second to start listening to audiobooks. Like many of us readers, I've had to undergo a bit of a desnobification over the last while, over the last few years, over my life. I don't know if I'm getting older, wiser, or if maybe I'm just not reading the comments anymore. I read your comments, obviously. But I mean, you know the comments I'm talking about. Or maybe it's just that I've got so many kids around me that I can't hear anything anyways. I'm finding that this weird general gatekeeping in a lot of communities seems to be getting better. What am I talking about? Audiobooks. I'm talking about audiobooks. Are audiobooks really reading? Yeah, they're really reading. Don't be a jerk. I've heard these flimsy arguments. You can't pay attention to the book if you're doing something else. Okay, person who's never gotten to the bottom of a page and said, I didn't read a word of that. I better do it again. And, I mean, projecting much? Maybe you can't pay attention to what you're listening to while you're doing something? But don't throw that at me. I don't have your problem. You aren't a real reader unless you invest the time. Where are you getting all this time? Because seriously, I need some more time. Where are you finding it? Now, the person who says this probably doesn't have children up their butt all day long or, a million things to do and only 500,000 minutes to do it in. You know what I'm trying to say. Maybe now I'm projecting. Anyways, not everybody has a bunch of chill out time to sit down with a book, and that's awesome if you do. I'm jealous. But that's not everyone, so don't be a jerk. Whenever I hear somebody say that audiobooks are cheating or not reading, I think people with dyslexia, people who have vision problems or blind, if they listen to audiobooks, do those not count? Is that not reading? Because rude. You're being rude. The story and the words are getting inside of your head. Who cares how they get there? I love audiobooks. They help pass the time. I have a awesome job. I love my job. But it can also be a little bit dull. There's a big chunk of time that is just cleaning stuff. So having a story going really helped my 10-hour shifts zoom by. And I'm actually on maternity leave right now, but my house is always messy. I clean every day. I clean so much, and yet, y'all, my house looks like it exploded every day. So I spend a lot of time cleaning, so that can either be reading time or it can not be reading time. I choose reading time. Some chores can be a little bit too tough, and that's when I go to something like a podcast that I don't really need to be paying attention to, like the grocery store. I've tried listening to my audiobooks there, but no, that's a podcast zone. Believe me, I would not be reading between 50 and 100 books a year without audio. Combining formats, audio, ebook, and physical books is how I hit those numbers. I didn't start out able to read and retain information from 3 different formats right off the bat. It took time, but I will tell you how I started getting into audiobooks. So at first, that's how I listened to nonfiction books. And I still pretty much exclusively listen to nonfiction on audio. You'll often have the author as the narrator, which is really fun for celebrity memoirs, and also comedians. If you read a comedian's book and they're reading it, it's like being at an 8-hour long stand-up set. It's awesome. When I try and read nonfiction, it just really bores the snot out of me. I will not retain anything. I just glaze over. I retain 100% more by listening to my nonfiction on audio. So yeah, once I got used to the format, I was able to start branching into fiction. And I found it a lot more difficult. I think it just took listening to a bunch of the right books to really get used to it. Audiobooks have exploded in popularity maybe you've noticed. And that's been great because that means so many more of them are being published in audio formats. So pretty much everything that comes out now you can find in an audiobook. And with them getting so popular, they've been making more and more full cast productions of books. So instead of having one guy do the entire thing, Game of Thrones, that's a different thing. Sidebar, just give me a second. I really want to reread Game of Thrones. I did read my Game of Thrones in physical books, but I thought, as like a background thing, I could re-listen on audio. And I'm pretty sure that the Game of Thrones books hold some record for the most individual characters done by one narrator. They're pretty huge books, so I can see why they did it, but I don't know. I'm going to give them a try anyways because they seem pretty popular on audio, so they can't be too bad. It just seems really strange to me to have one guy do like 1,000 people. Okay, let's go back. So how the heck are you supposed to listen to all these audiobooks I keep talking about? Libby. Libby is the best. I highly recommend Libby. I love Libby. Libby is a library app, so you're going to need a library card and the ability to download an app. And then you can borrow audiobooks from your library. It's good for the library, it's good for you, it's free. Everybody wins. You'll have wait times on really popular books, but we should all be using our local libraries. They are the best. Get your Libby on. And then I have an Audible account. I've heard of other things I could be using. I just haven't sat down and actually learned. I've had my Audible forever, and my husband and I share, so we just both get our books, and I don't know, I'm just being lazy and not learning. I believe it's Libro FM is the one that I've heard of that is the same as Audible, the same price as Audible, but the books are purchased through your local independent bookstore. So I would really, really like to switch over to that. I am going to look it up. Oh, you know what? I'm going to look it up right now. Libro FM. I always hear ads for it on like my podcasts, but everybody on my podcast are always American, and I always just assume that us poor Canadians aren't going to get anything, so I don't often even look into it. Same audiobooks, different story. Canada? Where is Libro FM available? US and Canada! It's only available to US and Canada. Well, anyways, I'm going to look into this more, but it sounds like, yeah, they purchased the book through your local independent bookstore. It's about the same price. It looks like a little bit more than Audible, but if you're supporting your local indie, that's great. So I really should switch. I just haven't yet. If you use Libro FM, tell me, is it the best? But yeah, so those are the three that I know about. Libby is my bae. It's great to be able to borrow a bunch of books for free. If I have nothing to listen to, I just go to what's available, and I have found a lot of titles that way that I never would have otherwise picked up. So yeah, in conclusion, don't be a jerk. Audiobooks are reading, and you should totally pick them up if you haven't tried them yet. I know they're not going to be for everybody, but honestly, I just love it. I have a friend who only listens to audiobooks, and she knits and knits and knits, and she makes sweaters and it's crazy. Actually, let's see. I'll tell you some of my favorite audiobooks that I have listened to that I can think of right now. I didn't write a list, but whatever. The full cast version of Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman was fantastic, and same with Neverwhere. Neverwhere is my favorite Neil Gaiman book. He usually narrates his books, so really check out anything that Neil Gaiman does because he's great, his books are great, and the audio versions, in my experience so far, have all been excellent. Helldivers have been a lot of fun if you're looking for something like fast-paced and action-y. Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. He reads it, and holy crap, is it good. I am almost done. I have 35 minutes left in a book called Death in Her Hands by Otessa Moshfegh. I kept bumping it back because you have that option with Libby. If a book comes in and you're not ready for it, you just be like, you know what? Give me a week. and asked me again. So I kept bumping it back, and then it came through again, and I said, whatever, I'll just listen to it. It's been really good. It's been a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and yeah, I'm really quite enjoying it. It's about a 72-year-old woman just kind of making up a murder mystery. But yeah, there's some just that I could think of right now. Audiobooks make reading accessible. It can be free. It can help people read who otherwise wouldn't have the time to. I love them. And there have been studies that show it's also good for your brain. It does the same stuff. So, yeah, don't be a jerk. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, share with all your friends. I would really appreciate it. Let me know what you're listening to below. And I will see you on Friday.